So to understand a heist, we have to start at the absolute beginning, before the vault was ever broken into, before the hijack even occurred.
The baseline.
The baseline, exactly. The framework calls this the gold standard, or tier 0. This is the original blueprint of the human living library. It was designed by what the documents refer to as the original starseed architects.
And it specifically notes groups like the Lyran, Syrian, and Pleiadian collectives as these architects.
Right. In this original state, the human vessel wasn't just surviving day-to-day on a rock floating in space. It was a multi-dimensional transceiver capable of processing data across 12 different dimensions simultaneously. But I have to ask, what does that actually mean? Processing 12 dimensions, how does the SOUL lab explain that biologically?
It's a fascinating concept of biological capability that completely redefines how we view genetics. According to the SOUL lab audit, this multidimensional processing was achieved through a fully active 12-strand DNA architecture.
12 strands. Modern science only recognizes 2, right?
Exactly. Modern science recognizes 2 active strands and a double helix. But the framework argues the hardware was originally built for 12. The documents break down the hardware specifications very clearly, treating them almost like bands on a radio frequency.
Okay, break that down for us.
So strands 1 through 3 were for physical grounding into the Earth node. This handles the 3D linear render, the 5 senses, and basic biological maintenance. Think of that as your local operating system.
Okay, so that's the base layer, just walking around, touching things, existing in physical space.
Correct. That's your base interface. Then you have strands 4 through 6. These were for emotional and solar plexus calibration. They govern the frequency of the heart center, or what the documents actually call the arc reactor.
The arc reactor, like a power source.
Precisely. This wasn't just about feeling sad or happy. This was an active, energetic organ generating a specific resonance. And finally, strands 7 through 12 acted as high-speed cosmic fiber optics. These strands allowed the user to pull information instantly from the living library across time and space. There was no need to read a book to learn something. You simply access the data stream directly.
That is wild. It's like having a brain that functions as a quantum computer, constantly connected to a universal Wi-Fi that never drops a signal. But here's where it gets really interesting, because this original human, this tier 0 prototype, wasn't just sitting around quietly meditating. They operated in a state of what the framework calls toroidal resonance.
Toroidal resonance, yes.
I had to look this up and really think about it. Imagine a perfectly unified, self-sustaining, energetic spin. The framework uses the term luminous gestalt. They existed in an open-source, superfluid environment. They generated their own self-renewing energy, a syntropic state of luminous radiance.
That word syntropic is key here. It's the exact opposite of entropic.
Right, because entropy means things break down.
Exactly. Entropy is the gradual decline into disorder. Things decay, energy dissipates, bodies age. Syntropy means the system generates more ordered energy than it expends. It is self-feeding and eternally renewing.
Right. There was no decay, no aging, no survival mode like we have today. It was pure, unfiltered connection. If you picture a toroid, it looks like a donut of energy where the center is constantly pulling energy in and pushing it out in a perfect, unbroken, symmetrical loop. No energy is lost. It's a perpetual motion machine, but made of consciousness.
Which naturally brings us to the most critical question of Dr. Gamble's entire framework. If T-resist was this flawless, self-sustaining, superfluid state of code, how did a hijack ever occur? How does a perfect system break?